Hi there, everybody. I'm so glad you're back. I'm Maggie O with Homeschool with Maggie O, your homeschool mentor. Welcome back to my curriculum review series. We're continuing our math. We're still on math and just bringing you some really solid curricula that you can choose from. And I hope that this helps your process in choosing which math that you think might work best for your learner and your homeschool. Today, we are looking at Bob Jones University Press Math, BJU Press Math. Like Abeka, which we just reviewed last time, the Bob Jones University Press offers a complete Christian homeschool curriculum and gives families different ways to use its materials. Um, I also like the Bob Jones site better than I liked Abeka. I get kind of confused myself in Abeka because it's just that they have so much to offer. I'm not speaking anything against them. It's a lot to digest. So you can teach the textbook in Bob Jones University Press curriculum yourself, or you can use the video instruction for many courses, just like Abeka. But although Bob Jones University Press and Abeka are sometimes grouped together simply because they're long-standing Christian curriculum companies, their approaches to math are not identical. So I'm going to make sure you understand that right up here on the front. Bob Jones places a strong emphasis on helping students understand mathematical concepts, develop reasoning and problem solving skills, and apply mathematics to real world situations. It also intentionally integrates a biblical worldview. So I'm going to give you a simple look at how the curriculum works and what options parents have, and then we'll run it through my Maggie O curriculum fit lens and talk specifically about who may find Bob Jones University Press Math to be a particularly good fit. So let's take a look and let's share my screen so that you can see it. And here we are. This is the actual Bob Jones University Press screen, their homepage for homeschool math curriculum. One of the first things I want to point out is the overall philosophy behind the program. Bob Jones University Press emphasizes more than simply getting the correct answer. The curriculum is designed to help students understand mathematical concepts and then use mathematical reasoning and problem solving skills. There is also an emphasis on applying math to real world situations. And because this is Bob Jones University Press, mathematics is taught within a explicitly biblical worldview. The company describes math as something that students can understand and use in a way that reflects God's character and his creation. So let's just kind of scroll through here. And the first, again, I just like the website, the way it's laid out. It's colorful, it's easy to understand, it's not overpowering, and these books, they look so engaging. And I want you to notice the emphasis on understanding and application. They're really working on teaching the concepts and then applying them. And students are developing computational skills, but the goal is not simply memorizing the procedures. And you can see we're going into the high school pre-calculus consumer math even. And then you can come down here and you can shop all of their math products. The curriculum also wants students to understand mathematical concepts and be able to apply what they know, just like I said. And as students progress through the program, they encounter increasingly complex mathematical reasoning and problem solving. So, review is also built into the curriculum so that previously learned skills continue to be reinforced. So, that's a spiral type, not only master type, but also spiral type of format. And students move through the grade levels. So I always recommend looking specifically at the level you're considering. And again, it goes all the way from K5, and then it comes all the way to pre-calculus. It's not bringing us all the way up to calculus. Then this is consumer math for finance. In the younger grades, students build foundational number sense and mathematical understanding. Then they progress through increasingly advanced math and concepts. And as students move towards high school, the sequence includes courses that are fundamentals of math, pre-algebra, algebra 1, geometry, algebra 2, and pre-calculus. So families who like the overall Bob Jones University Press approach can continue using the curriculum into the advanced high school math. So let's just look at one. I had one. Oh, the other thing I want to mention real quick though, if you come up here to resources and go down here to skill assessments, you can come down here and yes, you can do an assessment to for each grade level of the math to see where your skill placement is. And these are standardized. And this one is just for the math. So that's helpful too. And then let's just open one of them. When you're over here on the main page, I'm looking at math number 6. And notice you have a video course choice and you have a textbook. We're going to look at the textbook first. So here is what opens up on that textbook area. And this is for 6th grade math. And it tells you what it prepares them for and what you can expect. Again, understanding that it puts it through a biblical Christian worldview. And this is the full kit. So when you come down here in contents, you see you get the student edition, the teacher edition, you get the assessments and the answer keys. And then there's even, they don't have samples like you can open a sample, but when you go into each part, there's like a little, like a picture here for what that's worth. But no, they do not have samples. So that's basically your math in a textbook. If you go and click that video, this is what opens up. So it's basically you're getting it online. And down here, I had already kind of queued this up a little bit here. So this is an example of what the video instruction
I told you last time that today
will look like.
Sending variables to their rooms. We're going to learn to isolate them. What math symbol can you write to make the number sentence true? An equal sign. Both expressions have a value of 12. An equation is kind of like a balanced scale or a teeter-totter. Any operation that is performed on one side of the equation must also be performed on the other side to keep those expressions equal.
So that's an example of the instruction that you would receive through Bob Jones University online. And that's really a nice addition. So, depending on if you want to fully do it yourself or if you would like some help, yeah, you can do the textbook option or you can do the video course option. And I like that. I like to have the option, and maybe you choose to do both. So let me get back to my notes. And that gives you a good kind of rundown on their site. And then, like I said, you can come up into here and there's other resources. And we're just focusing on math today, but obviously they have all the subjects that you would need. They also have full type packages. And some families like to do it that way. So now that we've run through the Bob Jones University math, let's put it through Maggie O curriculum fit lens and see who this would be a good fit for. So first we start with our learning style. Visual learners, it's a strong potential fit, particularly in the younger levels because students encounter the colorful materials and the visual models, demonstrations, and activities. The video course adds another strong visual component. You noticed how bright she was, and it had the whole school vibe to it. And she's a good speaker. She's very confident. Your auditory learners, a strong potential fit with either active parent instruction or the video courses. And students have mathematical concepts explained directly to them rather than being expected to learn entirely through independent reading. Hands-on kinesthetic learners, potentially a good fit, particularly in the younger grades. Bob Jones University Press incorporates hands on activities and manipulatives into some of its elementary math instruction. However, the amount of hands on learning will vary by grade. For your reading and writing type learners, strong potential fit. Students work with traditional work texts and increasingly textbook based materials as they progress. Independent learners, this depends significantly on which format you use. The parent led textbook option requires more direct involvement, obviously, whereas the video course can provide much greater independence, particularly as students get older. And you will notice that there's a difference in the price tag for that convenience as well. Unique learners, considerations that we need to have for unique learners, for students who need to understand why math works rather than simply memorize procedures. I see strong potential here in the Bob Jones University Homeschool Math. The emphasis on conceptual understanding and problem solving may benefit students who need mathematical ideas explained in context. For some children with ADHD, the variety of visual instruction activities, demonstrations, and video options may help maintain engagement. However, longer video lessons may be difficult for some of those kiddos. So I would always watch a sample with your particular child and see how they respond to it, see how they interact with it. You could play that at their grade level and see if they would sit and listen to that. It's an, or you could also even decide maybe I need to divide that into two instead of just one. So for students though who need repetition review and incorporated, they need that review incorporated throughout the curriculum. That's a good fit. For children who struggle with reading, the video option may reduce the amount of independent reading required to access the instruction. For students with significant math learning disabilities, I would still evaluate whether the pace and structure provide enough individualized support. No complete curriculum automatically replaces targeted intervention when that is needed. So let's talk about it from a homeschool philosophy, depending on what your philosophy is. The Christian homeschool, very strong. Bob Jones University intentionally integrates a biblical worldview rather than simply adding Bible verses to otherwise unrelated material. A traditional homeschool, strong fit. There is a structured academic sequence, textbooks and work texts, assignments and assessments. Eclectic homeschool, also a strong possibility. You can use just their math. You can absolutely use it. And not have to use the rest of theirs. A classical homeschool, a potential fit, particularly for families who value systematic instruction, logical reasoning, academic rigor, and a Christian worldview. Relaxed homeschool, possible, particularly if the parent is comfortable adapting the schedule and the assignments, and however you need to piece that together. Unschooling or strongly child led, probably a weaker natural fit because this is a structured, sequential curriculum. As for parent involvement, with the textbook version, I would kind of rate that moderate to high. The parent is responsible for delivering and managing the instruction. With the video option, I would say low teacher involvement. The video teacher handles much of the instruction while the parent moves into more of a supervisory and support role. So that flexibility is one of the major advantages that I would say about Bob Jones Press offering homeschool families this video math. The strongest fit for this program, I would say, is a child who benefits from conceptual explanations, a student who needs to understand why math works, a child who benefits from visual instruction and real world application, a Christian family wanting an intentionally biblical worldview, a family that wants a structured academic curriculum, a parent who wants the choice between teaching personally and using video instruction, a family homeschooling multiple children that may benefit from video based independence, and families looking for a math sequence that can continue through the high school journey. Look more carefully and with caution for those, if you're wanting a secular math curriculum, this would not be that fit. Your family wants maybe a stronger child-led approach. Your child needs a very minimalistic curriculum. You want math to be completely independent without purchasing the video option. Or your child needs highly individualized intervention beyond what a complete grade level curriculum can provide. So let's look at, I want to compare Bob Jones University Press to Abeka because they're sort of similar from the point of view that they come from. And because we reviewed these back to back, I want to make one quick distinction. Both Abeka and Bob Jones University Press are long-standing Christian curriculum companies. Both provide structured academic programs. Both can continue into high school math, and both give families options for teacher-led video instruction. But I wouldn't necessarily consider them interchangeable. One distinction I would investigate closely is teaching philosophy. Abeka is particularly known for its spiral approach, repetition, continual review, and traditional skill development, whereas Bob Jones University Press places a particularly strong emphasis on conceptual understanding, mathematical reasoning, problem solving, and application. That doesn't mean Abeka never teaches concepts, and it doesn't mean Bob Jones University Press doesn't, provide review and skill practice. We're talking about differences in emphasis. And those differences may matter depending on your child and how your child learns. So that's our look at Bob Jones University Press Math. My biggest takeaway is the combination of conceptual understanding, problem solving, real world application, a biblical worldview, and flexibility between parent led and video instruction. If those align with your child and your homeschool, Bob Jones University Press Math is obviously worth putting on your research list. I'm Maggie O with Homeschool with Maggie O, your homeschool mentor. Remember, we are not looking for the curriculum with the most impressive list of features. We're looking for the curriculum whose features actually meet the needs of the child or children sitting right in front of us. I'll see you in our next math curriculum review. And until next time, happy homeschooling.